Hello there everyone, 'tis Carol from the Crafty Emporium. So yesterday I did a video showing how I've just done some basic decorating on some envelopes to leave them to fully decorate later on, and I showed quickly at the end how to make the envelope tag pouch booklet. God, that's a mouthful. And one of the ladies quite rightly commented, I thought you were going to show us how to decorate it, so I thought that I had better come on and show you how I'm actually going to decorate this. And I'm as I've said before, I'm going to try and use up quite a lot of my stash that I've got, because there's a lot of it. So I've printed out some of my digikits when I was doing practice runs, and I've got loads of bits left over, so I want to use those up as well. So I'm going to use these two little girls from my digikit called The Language of Flowers, and I'm going to use the little title pages. I'm going to use some music paper, some paper pack paper, some lace, crochet doily, and I'm also going to use some scrap strips of paper as well, but you'll see as we go along. So I had a little play about with how I wanted the front of it to look, and I've come up now with my idea. So what I want to do first, if I just push all these to the side for now, I want to use a piece of some music paper, some vintage music paper, because I don't want this to be overly heavy in terms of weight as well as decoration. Put that back down there. So I want a piece of paper that has got, it's quite heavily decorated, I suppose. I don't want anything, this is quite a lightweight, this one's quite heavily decorated, so I want one with a lot of music and words and stuff on, because obviously I want the decoration to show. Now what I want to do is I want this little girl on the front here, but she's going to end up slightly off centre, so it means that I've got a lot of excess here. So I'm actually going to trim a little bit this off, because I don't want her this far over. I actually want her a little bit further in, which means I'll need to get rid of some of that first. So I'm just going to chop her off. I just want to take about a ½ an inch off, and it helps if I cut her straight, not skew-whiffy. So that's a better balance for what I'm actually going to put on the front. Now again, I don't want music paper all the way surrounding her. I just want it so that it's just up the side here and just across the top. So I'm going to rip off this top bit first, and today I'm going to use my ruler for ripping rather than ripping by hand, because I want it to be a little bit quicker. And I'm going to rip this edge off down here as well. Now as you can see, I'm trying to place the ruler on the main part of the paper and then rip off the little bits on the right hand side, because this will support it whilst I'm ripping, whereas if I did it the other way around, my ruler would keep slipping off because it can't get a proper grip. So I want to use this top corner up here. So I'm going to place her on where I want her to be. And then I'm going to place my ruler there, because as I say, I don't want it going all the way around. And then I'm going to move her out the way. So now I've got an idea of the size. And by the same token, I'm going to do the same at this end. So I'm not doing it beyond, I'm going to do it slightly shorter. And again, I'll just move her out of the way. So it will be like that, so that it's just going round the two sides here. So I'm going to put her to the side for a moment. The next one, this one's going to go on the back, and I actually want her to be surrounded fully. So I've already ripped a piece of paper out here, so she will sit like that, so that she's completely surrounded by the paper. Now the size that I've done it to is within this area here, so I haven't encroached on this top section of the tag shape. I've just done it within this area here, and she will sit on there because I want to make her into a little pocket. I'm not sure yet whether I want it to be a top loading pocket or whether I want it to be a side loading pocket, but I want her to have a little bit of coverage on the back. So I'm going to go off and ink these up because I don't think you need to watch me doing that, and I'll come back in a minute and show you the next step. I've got all my pieces now inked up, and I've also ripped out another 2 pieces of music paper that I'm going to put on the inside there. And again, I'm not going to encroach on this tag shape space, so but I've got those all inked up and ready to go. Now what I want to do is, I want my fabric tack. I want to put this lace on, and I tea dyed this piece of lace, and I want it to go there. So I'm going to glue that in place first. Ooh, one gunked up end. Get rid of that. So I'm going to go there, and down there, and down there, and then some in the middle. And I'm extending it beyond this top edge up here because I'm going to cut it down afterwards rather than trying to guess beforehand where I want it to go. And then I'm just going to chop that off, and then I can chop round, and I can chop at the angle. So that's going to go there. Now the next piece that I want to add is this piece of crocheted tablecloth that I've got, and I've just cut, there was a full circle, I'm just cut it in half, but I'm going to position, I'm just going to sit these on top so that I know where I want that to go. So they're going to sit on there like that, maybe a touch further down, and then that's going to sit underneath. So it's poking out that top corner. So I know that I want it to go about there. So I'm just going to hold it, flip half of it up and put some glue on the back. It's very stringy, this stuff. And then I can put that down, and then I'm going to pick that edge up and do the same on that half, and then I know it's in the right place then. It's got a little bit of glue poking out there, don't want that showing. So that's going to sit like that. So the next thing is to stick that onto there. And for this I'm going to use my collal glue because I like using the collal for paper to paper. I'm going to have to be careful because I've put glue all the way over, and I know that it doesn't go all the way over the back of the music paper. So I've got excess glue here. And I'm going to put glue on there. And I'm also going to put some Tombow glue around this top corner here, which is where the crochet doily is, because it's a much stronger glue than the collal. And I want that to sit on there. And then I try to have, I've got these little pearlised buttons, these little tiny ones here like this, and I try to have some ready that are already faux stitched. So I've just stitched through the button, get them out to show you, and I've only got a few left. I need to make some more. And again, this is another one that you can do when whilst you're sat watching the TV, is to just faux stitch a few buttons up. So I've only got 4 left, but I want to add some buttons on there. And look at the other thing that I like about pearlised buttons is the back of them, because the back is so pretty sometimes. So I want to decide if I want to have buttons down there or across the bottom. Now I know that you're sat the other side of the screen going, no, no, don't put them there, put them there. Let's have a look at the side again. So everyone's got different tastes. Ooh, can't decide. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where should I put my buttons? 1, 2, 3. I think I quite like them at the bottom. I think I might put them on there. Okay. I'm going to put a little dot of glue there. And add a button. And another one there. And add my button. And another one there. And add my button. Now the other thing that I wanted to do was, there we go. So I've got this scrappy bit of paper and I've got my flower punch. I want to punch 2 of these flowers out. So I want to sit those on top of each other. I'm going to ink these up as well and then put a gemstone in the middle. So I'm just going to ink the very edges of it up. But I might put that flower up there. I'll have a think about that one, and I'll show you later what I did with it. Now I can't do too much more with this at the moment until my buttons, the glue has gone off and the buttons are set. So I'm just going to put that to one side for a moment so I don't knock it. And I'm going to show you a couple of other bits of prep that I'm going to do in the meantime. So one of the things that I wanted to show you was I try to get like a rounded corner of inking on corner pieces like this. And the way in which I do that is I'd run the ink off the edge of the card and then I run it over the corner, but I run it around the corner a few times so that it picks the colour up, and I'll do that on each of the corners just so that it helps to pick that ink up around the corner a bit. And then I'm going to glue this on top of that piece of music paper. And then that's then ready to be stuck on the back of the little booklet when that other glue has dried. The other thing that I want to show you is these are going to go on the inside, and I've already inked them up. But the other thing that I'm going to do is, as you can see on this one, I've added 4 little brads in the corner. So I'm just going to poke a hole in each of the 4 corners. Now I wanted to show you this bit, not because I want to show you how to put a brad on, but it's in the corner. So it means that if I splay open those prongs, they tend to just go top, bottom, left, right. But we need to take these at an angle. So I'm going to do, I need to twiddle it round. So the first one's going to go straight down. So down that edge. But this one, this other prong, I'm going to pull over this way so that it's almost at a right angle. Doesn't have to be a perfect right angle, because otherwise I'm going to have to cut it. So they're splayed at angles, okay, rather than going top, bottom or left, right, because then, as I say, they overhang and then you've got to cut them off. The other thing that I like to do, and I forgot to get it out ready, there we go, is I like to put on a piece of micropore. Now, one of the things that I've done is in the description box down below, I've just started an Amazon affiliate shop link where I've listed some of the more favourite things that I use. So like the glues that I use, the micropore. And obviously if you purchase from my little Amazon store, I do get a small percentage of whatever you purchase. Now, the reason why I put the micropore on here, and you will see me using this product quite a bit, is it covers over those, oh, that was my computer, it covers over the sharp edges of the brad back, so it means that when I'm slipping some paper underneath here later, then it won't catch on those brads. It also now gives me a paper backing that I can more easily put glue on when I actually come to stick it down. So I like to just cover those over, those prongs over, with a bit of micropore. Obviously you don't have to buy micropore, you can just use washi tape, or you could cover the whole of the back of this with another piece of card. I'm just going to push down on those a little to flatten that back. There we go. So I'm going to go off now and go and finish poking my holes on here, and then I'll come back in a minute and show you the next step. Now I'm going to glue this onto the back, and as I say, I want to make it into a pocket, so I'm going to glue it around 3 sides on the back, and I have the pocket entry on the side rather than on the top, because I'm going to be putting something on the top here so that if I put stuff in the top pocket, it will catch on this top that I'm going to put on. So I've decided on a sideways entrance pocket. So I'm going to put glue on the 3 sides. Have to be careful of that bit. I've just put a tad too much on. Scrap bit of paper. Let's just take a little bit of that excess off, because otherwise it'll ooze out. And I don't want any oozing. There you go. And that will go on the back there. Now again, I'm not going to decorate the back of this up massively by adding, you know, flowers and buttons and lace. Oh my, because it's on the back and it will sit on the surface like that. And if I've highly decorated up the back, it's just going to get damaged. And that is ample sufficiency. I might put a couple of punch flowers because they're flat, but that will be all that I will add to it. Okay, so to the inside, I'm going to add these pieces of music paper that I prepared earlier. And they're just for background decoration, these. And just to cover over the flap of the envelope. So that's going to sit on there. And that one is going to sit on there. Now you could do with this with book pages. It doesn't have to be music paper. It's just what I'd got to hand. And then these, I'm going to place glue down the edge there and down the edge there. And again, this is where the micropore comes into play, because I'm putting the glue onto the micropore and not onto the back of the brads. And then I'm going to sit this up here so that it overlaps the music paper. It fills in a bit of this top space here, and those will then act as belly bands. I'll show you what I'm going to do with those in a bit. So I want to do a bit more of the decorating first. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay, let that glue set off on those. So as you can see here, I've just added, I'll show you up close. I just added 2 of those punch flowers. The one underneath, I just inked the edge of the petals up. Now I have contemplated between putting my last little button in there so that it matches up with these buttons at the bottom, and I think I might do that. It all ties it all together then. But I could add a gemstone in there, so that now ties all that together. And then the last thing that I really want to do in terms of decorating the tag itself up is, again, just from this, let's take it from that edge, from this scrap piece of paper, I just want to cut off a strip. I'll tell you what, actually, using up the last few videos that I've done using up all my scraps, I have hardly produced any rubbish to throw away. Normally I'm emptying my bin quite often, and I actually haven't had to do it quite as much as I've done previously. So I'm just folding these in half. And I just want to ink them up a little, just so that they all tie in together. Now I've done one for the front and one for the back, and the one on the back I'm just going to slip that over the top. If I open it up, so this pouch part here, I'm just going to slot it over the top here. Oh, come on, go on over. I'm just going to slot it over the top there and have it protruding out a little, so it's almost like a little tab. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm not going to ink it up, I'm going to glue it up. Sometimes I wish that my mouth was connected to my brain. They might actually enjoy each other's company. And I might say my words right then. So I'm just going to make that into a little tab there. Now you can see now why I didn't want to do a top loading pocket, because anything that I put in there to try and pull out would catch on this bottom edge here. And then I want to do the same with the one on the front. Underneath there. Okay, so I've now got little tabs. Now I could just leave the tabs as they are, or I could punch a little hole in and put some lace through there, or some seam binding. Do I want to? Don't know, I quite like it as it is, I think. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, last bit is I've got, again just reaching there, I've got a pouch just full of long strips that I've cut off the ends of papers when I've been making my journals. And I try every so often to go through them and put them into size, because I want, obviously sometimes I want papers that are all going to be the same kind of length. And what I'm going to do, shall I use those at the back? Oh, already folded in half, look perfect. Is I'm just going to hook them. Coming from that way. Now hook them over the top so that they formed like a little mini notepad, and it's just a great way of me using up some of my scraps of papers. Let's get 3 of those. They're different size, but it doesn't matter. But it's just a great way of using them up and getting rid of them, rather than them sat in the pouch waiting to be used. And I'm coming up from underneath, because when I go down I'm catching on the edge of the music paper. So if I come up from underneath, I haven't even got to alter the length of them, look, perfect. And then obviously I've got the pouch itself where I can store some more pieces in there if I so wish. But there we go. The last thing that I want to do actually is I don't always like to get my sewing machine out and do lots of stitching, and I do like doing a bit of doodling, but I like doing faux stitching. So I like to draw some pretend stitches, and I'm using a 0.3 pen. So this is it's a uni pen, a fine line uni pen, and this is my 0.3 that I'm using. So I'll do straight stitches so far, and then every so often I'll stop and I'll just do a little mini zigzag bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're really nervous about just going straight on with the pen, you could do it with pencil first and then going over the top. But it somehow just finishes it off, frames it up. And I will probably go around and ink the edges of the envelopes up as well to just give them that little bit of definition. Why do I find drawing straight lines therapeutic? Oh dear, that's quite sad. And you see how it just finishes it off a little. I could do the same around the actual envelope itself as well if I wanted, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to ink it up, I think, and I'll do the same with the little girl on the back too. So there you go. That's the little decorated, long title this, envelope, tag, pouch, booklet. What a mouthful. Thanks very much for joining me again, and I'll see you all again soon with some other delicious stuff. And thank you very much for joining me. See you later. Bye.